Hey everybody, haven't seen you guys in a while. I've been busy with school and other stuff. Okay, take that off. I'm wearing my coat like a regal gown because I feel like a king today. I don't have a crown though, so there's that. But yeah, so I want to make this update video because I don't like leaving you guys in the dark, even though I've left you guys in the dark for a good, I don't know how long now, but since I uploaded the Sonic bonus episodes for Sonic Adventure. Because what else would I upload Sonic bonus episodes for, right? But anyway, yeah, since I uploaded those, which has been a good month-ish, I think, by now. And there's a few reasons for that. Most of it is because of school, because this is my semester that I'm really trying to concentrate on because this is the semester where I finish up all the credits I need for my associate's degree, so I really want to make a good impression for when I transfer, so that's a big deal for it. There's been a few other things that have been going on, but that's pretty much mostly what it is. I've also been working still, even though I said I was going to work less hours. I've still been working a little bit at my place of work and trying to bring in a little bit of cash so that way I have a little bit of saved up. I don't like being low on money, and what I consider low on money would probably not be considered low on money by a lot of people, but I don't like being low on money, so I like to So I wanted to kind of try to keep that stuff up. You'll have to excuse me if I do cough or whatever. I was eating these pretzels, chocolate-covered pretzels, earlier before I started this up. So, speaking of starting this up, hopefully the lighting isn't terrible. I'm recording this again because I was going to do it earlier, and then I was like, okay, this is being stupid. So, now I'm recording it, and it's like 10:50 at night, and I'm like, okay. So, it's really dark out, and one of the lights in our room isn't working, so we need to get that fixed. But for now, hopefully the lighting is okay because my computer screen's actually on, and I've actually got all the list of the rundown on the screen so I could talk to you guys about what I'm updating about. So let's get on with the actual updates parts. If you've been around from other channels, you most likely came over from somebody on the Gamers Bench. The Gamers Bench was a collection of people who they run a website called thegamersbench.com, and they're a relatively cool bunch of people, and they I was in with them for a little while, and I've officially resigned from the Gamers Bench now because of my inability to perform my duties as I don't even know what I was on the site. I guess it was like an editor or something, a moderator. I don't even know what my job was, but I'm resigned from it because I feel like I need to take more responsibility elsewhere. So, and I don't feel like by taking responsibility elsewhere, I can take as much responsibility for that website. It's just a lot of work to devote time and attention to that site, and devote time and attention to my own channel, and devote time and attention to school, and work, and family, and the list just goes on, and it's just like, okay, narrow that down a little bit because I need a little bit of actual, like, concrete foundation. Okay, here's a few things that I want to build up on. But working the site was basically, like, I had no time for my own channel, and I didn't, I really want to work on getting my own channel off the ground first, and making sure that I establish my base for myself before I start devoting time and attention to sites like that. So, that's part of the thing. What else? Let's see. There's a couple of things I wanted to say about it. First and foremost is if you go on Twitter, on my Twitter page, and you go back a little while, I actually took a break from Twitter and YouTube and pretty much the internet for a good 2 or 3 weeks for a little while there. Pretty much through the entire month of October, from like the middle to like the end of October, I was like, okay, taking a break from all this stuff because I got to concentrate on other stuff right now. So, but if you go back on Twitter for a little while, I think the tweets are all still up at this point. Myself and a couple of other members of the Gamers Bench basically had a Twitter war about my responsibilities to the podcast they ran once a week, because I was working that entire weekend and there was literally no way for me to tweet out to them that, hey, I couldn't get on there. I had tweeted out at the beginning of the weekend that I would be working that entire 3-day weekend. This was Columbus Day weekend, which is a nationally recognized holiday that Monday, so I don't know why they didn't make the connection to 3-day weekend there, but whatever, not the point. Even if I wanted to tweet out to them, hey, I'm working for 3 straight days and I really can't get on the podcast, there was no possible way of doing that. Hard copy of evidence, number 1. This is a cell phone. This is my cell phone. It is an LG Rumor Touch. It's a touchscreen phone. Now, on phones that aren't like iPhones or Droids or whatever the hell you fancy newfangled techno kids have been using these days, on phones that don't have that, these phones have little arrows right next to the service bars that there's 3 arrows up, 3 arrows down. That indicates your internet status. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to put it real close to the screen. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'm trying to look in the thing. Mine, the arrows are grayed out. Basically what that means is my phone does not have internet service. This phone calls people, and that's it. I can call, I can text, that's it. I have no internet service whatsoever on this phone. So if I'm ever, if I ever talk to you on Twitter and then I'm like, oh, I gotta go to work, bye, and I go to work, I can't answer your tweets until I come back because I have literally no way of accessing the internet while I'm at work. So even if I wanted to tell them, hey, I can't be on the podcast that Monday night, I couldn't because I was working, and this is the kind of stuff that I had with me. I didn't have a phone that would let me go on Twitter. Excuse me. Twitter, and tell them, hey, I can't go on there because I don't have access to the internet when I'm at work. So, and even if I did have this phone, they require us to put the phones away in lockers when we go to work. So I can't even if I did have internet, I can't really access it without getting in trouble with the management. So that's not fun. So, but yeah, there was no way I could have been more responsible on Twitter. I felt like what I said was enough, but apparently it wasn't. So that was one thing. The other thing is that I don't want to take full credit for the podcast being my original idea, because I definitely pushed it along and said, hey, I think it'd be a good idea for the site to have a podcast because then we could talk about whatever. And I kind of pushed it along because I felt like it was more of a fun aspect. It was still fun for a while, but I felt like it was more about the business of running the site on the podcast than it was about us just chilling and talking. It was less hanging out and more like, okay, structure, business, we have to do this to run the site and this and this and this, and I'm like, okay. I don't know if you guys know me too well. I'm a psychology major, and I'm going for my associates at this point. Video games could never be a business for me because I feel like I'm not in the camera enough if I'm not sitting up straight because I've got this at a weird angle. But yeah, video games can never be a career for me or a business for me because they're what I do to unwind from, from a long day at work or from a long day at school or something like that, and I'll come home and I'll turn on a video game, I'll play it because I need to unwind. So I can't really treat that kind of stuff seriously as a business aspect, but that was more of a point that they brought up that I wasn't really, and I can see where they were coming from with this, that I wasn't really taking the site as seriously as it probably should have been taken, as they were taking it. And while I disagree with the fact that it was supposed to be a fun thing in the first place, and we're not making any money off of this stuff, so it's not like we're in it for profiting off of it in that way, but I can see definitely where they're coming from with it, because you can't get a site to be profitable like that unless you work hard on it. And at that point I hadn't written anything for the site in a good month. So there was that. And the other thing that they kind of went over, there was a couple of points that they kind of went over when we had a little talk on Skype about me resigning. One of the points was that they felt like some of the time when I was on the podcast, my thoughts weren't really entirely coherent when I was talking about them. So I can agree with them in some aspects. Sometimes when I'm doing commentary, I tend to kind of trail off or not know entirely what I want to say. I think that I really like that though. I think that's kind of thrilling that way because if it kind of puts you on the spot, you know, it gives you a little challenge. My nose is really itchy. What the hell? Kind of puts you on the spot, kind of gives you a little bit of a challenge, and if you know exactly what you're going to say, then that's a fucking speech, and you can read off a goddamn cue card and be a fucking trained monkey to do that. Excuse me. Just my idea. If I ran for president, just using the political tension of the time, if I ran for president, I would never use cue cards. Never. Because what? I could train a monkey to read off of a card. And most of those cards, they don't even write their own speeches. So why would I track out everything that I want to say? The post commentary that I did, not scripted. I looked at the video, I watched it through once before I did the post commentary for Sonic Adventure. No script. Because I didn't feel like I needed it. But I do agree with the fact that sometimes I kind of trail off, or sometimes I don't know exactly what I want to say, and I'll say it anyway. So, to remedy that, I'm taking public speaking classes next semester to kind of round out my little repertoire, my resume for the next school I'm transferring to. Let's see, was there anything else they wanted to say? Not really. That was pretty much all we hit on that I felt like needed to be addressed. Basically, we disagreed on business practices, and I disagreed on the fact that there was business at all to be taken into consideration with this. But I understand where they're coming from with it, and I mean, that's their decision. They can do whatever they want there, but I feel like I need to get my own stuff together in order to ever be a part of that again. So, just felt like it was time to kind of move on and collect myself and get that together before I decided to devote any amount of attention, because it's like I'm going off in different directions. It's a big spider web, really, and I'm here at the center. I'm trying to keep everything straight, and when there's so many different strands to keep straight, you kind of devote resources to all of them at the same time, and then you can't concentrate on any one in particular. So I felt like it was time to kind of, you know, narrow the spider web down. Might lower my target area a little bit. My target audience might get smaller because I'm not a part of the Gamers Bench anymore. But in the same vein, I can focus more on what I want to do and what I want to get together, and not worry so much about the business aspect of it. So, because this is supposed to be fun. I think it's supposed to be fun. And, you know, at the end, I'll be honest, guys. If you're watching from the Gamers Bench, I wasn't having fun at the end. I mean, I wasn't. That's just a fact of how it was going. So, I don't know if that means anything, guys, and I'm sorry if this upsets you, but it wasn't fun for me anymore. So, yeah, that's going to be taken care of. But yeah, so that's all out of the way, but just because that's out of the way doesn't mean I can start uploading again. I'm taking a little break from uploading, as you've probably seen at this point. It wasn't really official until I started playing games that I hadn't beaten yet, because I have a lot of games lying around that I bought that have either been beaten by my brothers or not even touched at all, that I personally have wanted to beat for a while, but I haven't beaten them yet. So, what I'm doing kind of while I'm on my uploading break is I'm kind of beating games that, I have like crap like thrown all over my desk right now, so it's kind of like all, but you'll see why in a second. I have games that I wanted to beat, that I'm beating while I'm in the process of taking my break. I just, on Twitter today, well, this is recorded the day before this is going up, but on Twitter today I announced I just beat Infamous 2 on the Infamous Collection. Great game. Really good. Probably my favorite sandbox game I've ever played, even over, you know, like Saints Row the Third and all that stuff, even over Jak 3. Jak 3 was a really good one as well, but Infamous 2 is definitely the best sandbox game I've ever played. Had one of the best endings in recent memory, but yeah, it's over now. I collected everything in the game. I collected all the blast shards, all the dead drops. I got a 90% in the completion score for the game. The only thing I was missing was the evil powers, because I did a pretty much entirely good side playthrough. So if I feel like it, I could go through and do an evil playthrough at some point, but we'll save that for the playthrough. No, not really. Another game that I've got that Exia, that Cole already beat, I was kind of watching, but I haven't beaten myself, is Asura's Wrath. I was honestly blown away by this one, because I watched him play it, and I was like, oh, it's, you know, it's Capcom, it's an interactive anime, whatever, it's gonna be whatever. If you can't tell, I was watching a little bit of Game Grumps before I played this. That's why I sound like John. But it was really good. Like, I was really surprised at how good Asura's Wrath was. We actually rented it on GameFly, and I was like, okay, we're going to buy this. Like, we're going to buy it right now. And we got all the DLC for it, so we got all that out of the way. So if I ever want to do a playthrough of this, which, if I play through it, it seems distinctly possible at this point. I haven't started it yet, but at this point it seems distinctly possible that I could do a playthrough of that. It's there, if I need it. Another one, The Last Story. Now this one, I actually pre-ordered this, that's why it comes in this conveniently neat little book casing, and it comes with the soundtrack with this hot chick on the front. I don't know. It comes with this art gallery, and it's got freaking crazy stuff in it. Got the place that you start in, and it's got all this cool stuff in it. Kind of like character concept art and all that stuff. I have no idea what this game's about, honestly. I've heard it's a really good RPG, but I have no idea like what it's about. I've kept all the spoilers off for myself, but I will be playing this one as well while I'm on my little break. Probably won't be doing a lot of the side quests though, because that's kind of what I do now a lot in games that I've been thinking about. Like Infamous 2, all of the side quests in that game were really like intriguing and interesting, so I was like, I'll do all of them. But if side quests don't make me feel like they don't offer any more immersion into the character than, you know, something like that. Like in Assassin's Creed 3, I was watching a playthrough of it, and they get to Boston, and it's like, oh, here's Boston. You can be an incredibly badass assassin now in the American colonies, but here's a mailman who needs you to deliver his mail for you all across town. That doesn't make me feel like a badass assassin, so why would I do that quest? So that's what I do in a lot of the games. So I probably, depending on how good the side quests are in this game, I might or might not be doing all of them. Probably won't be doing all of them, to be honest with you, because most of the time in RPGs like this, the side quests aren't really all that worth it. But I mean, there's a fucking white tiger on the front logo. The game's got to be good if there's a white tiger on the front of the thing. You have to pardon my language. I'm tired right now, so I'm like, ugh. But I'm amped a little bit because I've been eating milk chocolate pretzels. So, yeah, there's that. And then last but not least, probably won't be finishing this game, but I'll be playing it on and off, is SSX, the 2012 edition. I think the game's in the PS3 right now, actually. Yeah. I still haven't used this online pass that they gave me for it. I could unlock Mount Fuji with it, but this game is awesome. I played a lot of it on my own when it first came out, but then I kind of got stuck into playing other stuff, like Skyrim and all that stuff, because I didn't get Skyrim until after it came out. So I got stuck in playing other stuff, and I never really came back to it. And Cole actually brought it out today, and I was like, wow, I forgot how awesome this game is. I'm going to go play it again. What I was doing when I was playing it before is I was trying to get all the gold medals, and that was like, the gold medals in that game are hard to get. Like, you need millions of points to get the gold medals in that game. So it's not like SSX Tricky where I can just blaze through and get golds on everything without even trying. But I mean, if I was to play through that, I'd be playing through it on and off, because it's not really one of those games that you can play, like, devote 4 hours to playing or anything like that. So I'd probably be doing that on and off. And I just feel like the silver medals are a comfortable spot for me. I can usually get a silver on pretty much every course that I go to, and there's no real difficulty there. So there's a lot of modes in that game. I've already put custom music on there from different video games, so that's really cool. I love the playlist option they have in the game that lets you take music from other mediums, other video games, and your own iPod or whatever, and just transfer them right onto the game. That's so cool, and I really wish they did that in earlier SSX titles or other snowboarding titles, because I don't think they've done that in like any of them before this. But it's a really good addition, and it's kind of subtle, so it's like, wow, I don't know, you know, why didn't they think of that before? But whatever. So those are the games I'd be playing. SSX, again, like I said, would probably be on and off. But despite that, despite the fact that I'm playing all these single-player games, we're actually recording a multiplayer game right now. Me, Steve, and Cole are all recording a multiplayer game right now. We actually got finished recording part of it, the second session of it, tonight, like a couple of hours ago before Cole went to bed. So, I won't say what it is, because that would be ruining your fun, but it will go up once the whole thing is done, because I don't want to end up with a situation like Ratchet & Clank All for One, where we don't play it for a month, And then I'm like, oh, well, I don't have any videos for this, so now what do I do? But it'll go up as its own playthrough, and it'll be the only thing the channel's devoted to once the whole thing is finished. So that'll give me a little bit of time to record stuff solo or other multiplayer stuff while that's going up. So that'll be cool. I don't have a designation for a solo project right now. Not really sure what I'm going to do, honestly. I've been trying different things. I beat Outland. Outland's a really good game, so that's a possibility. Pokemon Emerald, I just got a randomizer for my thing on the computer for it, and that's a really cool feature. I have a frickin' like awesome team on there from the randomizer, and I just got my first badge. I have a frickin' Latias on the team. It's like level 11. It's crazy. So that's a possibility of returning to that. I don't know about Final Fantasy V yet. But I definitely do know that I want to use FRAPS at some point, because I got FRAPS and I got all the stuff that I need to record off my computer screen, and it's kind of just been sitting there doing nothing, so I'm like, I should probably use that at some point. So we'll see what my solo project's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I will say this. I do have a general plan for how I'm going to be uploading and what I'm going to be uploading for stuff for next year. Don't know how that's going to work out, and if it's going to work out exactly how I plan on having it work out, because there's a specific order that I want to upload some stuff next year. You guys will like it when I do it, so that'll be cool. But yeah, so I have a general idea of what I'm doing, but I don't know what solo project I'm going to do yet. I'll figure it out at some point. Maybe you guys can influence me into doing one of those games. I don't know. One of the ones that I mentioned here. Although, after just playing through them, which I'm going to be doing pretty much now, or within the next month or so, month and a half. I probably won't want to play them again for a little bit, so probably won't be doing any of those guys that I just listed. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got for the update video. I got a lot done in this one. Last but not least, so that I'm still kind of remembering this part, we actually, myself, Octane Blue, Mr. I Don't Have One, and Jason, aka All Creator, we actually recorded a Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time playthrough, multiplayer, online. We recorded the whole game. It was actually the one that is up on YouTube right now. The whole game's up right now on YouTube on Octane Blue's channel. I'll leave a link in the description to part 1 of the video, playlist / whatever. You know what I mean. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But we actually recorded it once, and a lot of the footage was either lost or we had a lot of disconnect problems. So we decided to record it a second time, and we breezed through the whole thing and everything like that. So it was a really cool playthrough. I think we made it look easier than the game actually was, honestly. Some of the missions at the end gave us a lot of difficulty, but there were a lot of missions at the end. So John, Octane Blue John, chose to scrap the missions for that one. Missions were fun, though. There were a lot of those little missions were pretty fun. But yeah, so check that out. Check that playlist out. I'll leave a link to part 1 of that video playlist in the description. There's a good 25 videos in there, and they're not like mine. John likes to upload longer videos. He has... most of the videos in that set are probably a good 25 or 30 minutes long. I think the longest one is like 52 minutes when we did the tower, which was a hell of a long dungeon. But... yeah, so he does more longer stuff, and so that might take a little bit more time and energy to devote to doing that. So make sure you either have a lot of time to sit down and watch for some of them, the longer ones, or kind of divide it up into spurts, maybe 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, or however you feel like doing it. You know what I mean? Just don't try to push yourself when you're. Don't try to watch a 50-minute video in that set when you've got 20 minutes left. You know what I mean? It's common sense. I'm sure you guys are good. You'll be fine. I feel like a doting mother or something like that. Do I sound like a doting mother? Okay. Steve's sitting right here. He's playing something on his MP3 player. See, his thing is more advanced than my phone. His can access internet wherever there's a wireless internet spot. That's more advanced than this phone. That's like... and it doesn't even make calls. So it's like, why don't I get one of those? I don't know. I don't feel like paying for a service plan right now, but I should.
You don't have to pay for a service plan.
Yeah, for an MP3 player, I don't have to pay for a service plan, so I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. But for now, yeah, that's it for this update. It was kind of a whirlwind tour, I guess. I'll kind of leave the rundown in the description as well. Maybe not. I usually forget to do that kind of stuff because I just edit this stuff real quick, especially tonight because it's like 11:10 now. So I've been talking for a good half an hour. I apologize for the long update, but I think a lot of what I addressed was important, so it isn't like I'm stumbling, you know, or prolonging the inevitable like I'm doing now. I'm prolonging the end, so thank you for watching, everybody. Thanks for the continued support. Hopefully we'll get to 250 videos sometime in the next century. I still have to watch back all my videos and try to find some cool spots in there. And then I have to re-download the MP4s for all of my Sword of Mana stuff, my Nightfire stuff, my Sly Cooper stuff, and my Luigi's Mansion. No, actually I had the Luigi's Mansion files. So I just need to re-download those 3 if I'm going to do a 250 video special. I was thinking about doing 500, honestly, because I feel like I need to get more consistent before I do anything, like any video specials or anything like that. So, but the battery is running dry on my Flip. I'm sure it's probably running on like Steam at this point. So, Steam from my desktop, that is. So, I'm going to be all done with this update. So, thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time, whenever next time will be. I'll probably update you on some other stuff before I come back from my little break. So, until then, take care, everybody. That did not work. I was trying to put it up like a badass assassin. I really want to play Assassin's Creed 3, but I don't want to order it yet because it's still $60 and I can't get it on GameFly because the priority on that is still low because everyone has it.
Yeah, true.
Whatever. Win some, you lose some, and I lost that one, so I'm done.